In this video, we're going to learn how to loop over dictionaries in Python. So I have this line of code and I am still using Netmiko. And here I'm basically importing the connect handler from the Netmiko library. And I have created a dictionary called devices_dict. And this is just to define the devices. In this case, I have 2 devices. Okay, so let's get into looping over dictionaries. Of course, I'm going to demonstrate this. So let me go into the IPython interpreter. IPython interpreter. Okay, so I'm going to copy and paste all of these line of code here, line of codes, because later in the examples, I'm going to show you how to, I'm going to connect to the devices using the ConnectHandler from the Netmiko library. Okay, so I have defined the dictionary called devices_dict. And here, this is to loop through keys. So in this case, the keys are device names. So device names are host name and host 1 and host 2. So by default, the keys are the ones that are going to be printed in the screen because this is the default behavior of looping over a dictionary. So we see that host 1 and host 2 are printed in the screen. So now we can connect to the devices using the ConnectHandler class. Okay, so here I'm still using the same syntax, right? This is the loop for loop. And here I am just I have created a variable called connection to connect to the devices. And you can see that I am unzipping. This is how you correctly unzip in order to connect to the devices. Okay, and next is this is how you basically find the prompt, which is the host name, and stripped or removed the trailing character, in this case, this character. And here I'm just going to print the host name. And the last line is to disconnect from the devices. Okay, I'm going to hit enter. So hopefully this will connect to the devices and pull the host names. Okay, yeah, so it looks like it's successful. So we see the host name of host 1 and host name of host 2. So it is successful. So next is to explicitly loop through keys. So in the first example, we didn't specify the .keys method. Here we are specifying or calling the .keys method in this case. Okay, enter. So we see the 2 keys, which are the host names. And then here, the difference is I'm just connecting to the devices using the ConnectHandler class. And of course, printing the host names into the screen. So hopefully it works as expected. So it will just print the host names of the devices. Okay, now we see the first device host name and the second device host name. So it's successful. Okay, next is to loop through values. In this case, I'm using the .values method. And we should expect to see the values printed in the screen. So this is what we see. These are the values of the devices. So host 1 has these values, right? Host 2 has these values. So, the code worked as expected. And here, this is just to show you a practical example of how we can use the .values method in order to connect to the devices and print the host names. Okay, hopefully it works. Okay, now we see the host 1 host name and host 2 host name. So it worked as expected. Last but not least is to use this syntax, right? So K is for the key, V is for the value, and here we are using the .items method. And we are just printing both the keys and the values. So we should see the host names and the values. And here, this is just an example of using the .items method in order to connect to the devices and print the host names. Okay, now we see the host one or device one host name and device two host name. Okay, so that's how you can loop over dictionaries in Python, and that's how you can loop over the dictionaries and connect to the devices and get the host names. Okay, so hopefully you found this video useful. If you did, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.